Welcome to Dreamy Tales, your bedtime haven. Prepare to embark on a journey of tranquility and relaxation. I'm here to weave enchanting stories that will gently guide you into a restful night's sleep. Subscribe and let the soothing whispers of Dreamy Tales be your nightly companion. A Moonlit Quest for Nightfall. Dreams. Chapter 1. A Sweet Scent on the Breeze. Willow stirred from her sleep as something carried through the open window. A sweet scent, unlike anything she had smelled before, drifted into her bedroom on the night breeze. She sat up and breathed in deeply, letting the mysterious fragrance awaken her senses. Where was it coming from? Willow slipped out of bed and padded over to the windowsill. She leaned out into the soft moonlight, gazing at the forest that grew up the hillside behind her house. The tree branches swayed gently, swaying the leafy canopy as if beckoning her closer. That was when she spotted it, a silvery glow filtering through the treetops near the edge of the woods. Willow's curiosity overcame her tiredness. She tiptoed out of her room and down the stairs, being careful not to wake her family as they slept. Slipping outside into the calm night air, the aroma grew even stronger. It was definitely coming from the forest. She followed her nose through the shadowy yard until grass and wildflowers gave way to mossy tree roots at the tree line. Stepping into the concealment of the woods, Willow's eyes widened in amazement. The trees sparkled all around her in the pale moonbeams. Dewdrops clung to every leaf and stem, catching the light like tiny diamonds scattered across the forest floor. But these weren't ordinary drops of water. As Willow leaned in for a closer look, she saw they shone with an ethereal glow, a soft luminescence that seemed to come from within. Unable to resist, Willow reached out and gently plucked a glowing dewdrop from a low-hanging branch. Lifting it close, she peered at the tiny sphere held delicately between her fingers. It smelled intensely of that sweet fragrance she had smelled on the wind, along with myriad floral notes she couldn't name. Without thinking, Willow softly kissed the dewdrop, letting its nectar lightly touch her lips. A rush of color and sensation overcame Willow's senses. Vivid dreams swirled around her, splashing in a sunny meadow, soaring high above the treetops with birds, chasing moonbeams through a glittering forest of silver and gold. Just as quickly as it began, the vision faded, leaving Willow blinking in a daze under the moonlit boughs once more. She raised trembling fingers to her lips, still tingling from that single taste. What magic was this? Willow gazed around in awe at the forest engulfed in a shimmering glow, realizing this secret belonged only to the night hours. As the mystery crept under her skin, a smile spread across Willow's face. Whatever magic lived in this wood, she was determined to discover its source. Chapter 2. A Fairy in the Woods. The next night, as dusk fell, Willow crept away from the house once more. She made her way through the forest, guided by the silver glow emanating from within the trees. It seemed even stronger than the night before, leading her deeper into the wood. Reaching the edge of a moonlit glade, Willow spotted tiny dancing lights weaving between the flower stems. She crouched low behind a fern and watched in fascination. The lights proved to be flickering fairy wings, 6 delicate pairs fluttering about the clearing like floating gems. One fairy, smaller than the rest, hovered near the edge of the glade with her wings drooping low. She seemed nervous and shy, always glancing back towards the shelter of the trees. Just then, a larger fairy swooped down and snatched a blossom right from the timid one's hands. Laughter rang out as the others joined in to tease the petite fairy. Willow's heart went out to the lonely figure. Taking a steadying breath, she stepped boldly into the open. "Please give it back," she called out softly yet firmly. The group of fairies whirled around in surprise, wings buzzing madly, almost tumbling out of the air. When they spotted the human girl, a collective gasp rose into the night. Their eyes went wide as saucers. I'm so sorry to disturb you," stammered Willow, thrusting her hands behind her back nervously. "But that doesn't seem fair to take what isn't yours. May you return the flower, please?" After a long pause, the lead fairy inclined her head regally and flew over to the timid one. She placed the purloined blossom apologetically back into the smaller fairy's outstretched palms. With that, the band zipped away among the trees, chattering all the while. Willow walked slowly towards the remaining fairy, who still trembled with anxiety. "Hi, I'm Willow. What's your name?" she asked gently. Wide amber eyes peeked up at her from behind a veil of silvery hair. "A Aster," came the tiny reply. Aster explained she often came to the glade each night to collect the mysterious nectar exuded by the moon-struck flowers. It was said to induce feelings of wonder and creativity when consumed. Willow told of her own discovery of the magical substance the night before. Aster listened with rapt attention, no longer afraid but intrigued by this strange girl. "Would you show me where you found it? I'd like to see," said Aster softly, gaining confidence by the moment. Willow agreed and held out her hand. After a pause, Aster alighted upon the offered palm. Together they walked out of the glade, the new friends chattering away under the winking stars. Chapter 3. New Friends in Strange Places. That night, Willow and Aster explored deeper into the forest together, following Aster's knowledge of the forest trails. As they walked beneath the moonbeams, Aster told Willow stories of the woodland inhabitants the girl might encounter, from glowworm colonies to nocturnal birds to mysterious sprites and wisps. Soon, their way was blocked by a rushing stream overflowing its banks after recent rains. They searched desperately for a way across, but the current was too swift. Aster worried her tiny wings couldn't support both their weights. That's when a rustling noise came from the bushes behind them. An old Trent emerged from the shadows, its massive trunk creaking as it moved. "Why do you linger by the waters this night, little ones?" asked the living tree in a voice like creaking boughs. Willow explained their plight, and the Trent nodded sagely. "The stream is angry after its long slumber underground, but where there is trouble, teamwork and creativity can find a way." He motioned them over with a gnarled branch. Willow gathered sturdy fallen sticks, while Aster wove vines and willow withes into a makeshift raft. The Trent watched with pride as the friends worked together, securing the materials until a safe platform was complete. "You have done well," he rumbled. Hefting the raft into the current, the Trent wished them luck as Aster and Willow clung on nervously. But their craft held steady on the frothing waters, carried smoothly across to the far shore. They waved their thanks as the Trent vanished once more into the misty wood. Their next encounter came upon a badger set burrowed into a hillside. Dozens of busy badgers were digging furiously even under the moonlight. Aster flew down to investigate and soon called Willow over excitedly. "They've found something under the soil, but can't tunnel past a thick tree root. Will you help them break through?" Willow joined in, tugging and heaving at the obstruction with all her might alongside the industrious mammals. With a mighty groan, the root snapped, allowing the badgers to renew their excavations with vigor. Aster sprinkled blessings of good fortune upon their works until the friends bade the badgers good night and continued into the forest together, drawn ever onward by the nightfall magic. Chapter 4. Songs of the Forest. Deep in the trees, Willow and Aster began to hear strange music drifting through the moonlit boughs. Floating notes of flute and harp melted together in an airy dance, leading them towards the song's source. They began to notice subtle changes in the forest, branches growing heavy with opalescent blooms, moss and fungi gleaming in shades never seen by daylight. Even the trunks seemed to vibrate to the ethereal notes. As they strode through this wonderland beneath the stars, the magic intensified around them. Soon, an opening emerged in the canopy ahead, flooded with silvery radiance. Parting a veil of willow vines, the glade's secrets were revealed at last. Willow gasped softly. Under the moon's benevolent light, trees and flowers alike flowed with a glimmering nectar as delicate forms flitted amongst the boughs. Elven singers sat within the branches, coaxing the sweet melodies from woodwinds and stringed instruments fashioned from materials of the wood. Their song wove an enchantment over the grove, summoning the forest's gifts up to the gleaming canopy. For this was how the nightfall blessings were created, through songs of magic, dreams, and mysteries under moon-watched bowers. At first, the singers were startled by the intruders, ceasing their charms. But seeing only a curious child and a guardian fairy, they welcomed Willow and Aster to observe the rituals. The songs resumed, and the children listened enraptured as starlight seemed to drip from the trees before their eyes. When dawn drew nigh, the singers blessed the glade one last time. They explained that sharing the wonders of the moonlit glade could spread more light in the world. Thus was the secret of the nightfall gifts gifted to the wandering friends. As Willow and Aster turned for home, a carpet of moonflowers sprang up behind their steps, lighting their way with silvery petals. Renewed in spirit, the children laughed and danced along the perfumed path, tired but filled with magic, glimpsed in the heart of the wood. Chapter 5. Return to Wonder. As the final wisps of dream evaporated beneath the rising sun, Willow stirred awake in her bed. She gazed out at the morning light, gilding the treetops, hardly believing her magical adventures of the past nights. Yet tucked under her pillow lay a sprig from the moonlit glade. Dewdrops gathered upon its silvery leaves like gifts from the stars. Her memories were no fanciful dreams after all. Willow hurried to the forest edge, hoping to catch Aster before the fairy slipped off to her noonday slumber. Sure enough, a tiny figure waited expectantly beneath the sheltering boughs. "Come, my friend, sit with me a while longer before we sleep our daylight sleep," whispered Aster. The friends spent the waning hours reminiscing and thanking each other for all they had seen and learned together. How their shy beginnings led to mutual understanding, facing perils with courage, cooperation, and care. The wood's mysteries they helped unlock together through creative thinking and insight. "We all have gifts to share, if only we find the bravery to offer them," smiled Aster. Willow nodded, realizing her own ability to wonder, to help others, and to make new discoveries through befriending those unlike herself. The birds began to settle, and sunset blushed the sky. "I must take my leave now, dear Willow, but know you'll always find wonder awaiting in your dreams," said the fairy softly. After a tender embrace, Aster fluttered away into the trees. Willow walked home, filled with calm and a newfound sense of purpose. As twilight deepened into night, she drifted to sleep with thoughts of magic, yet untapped, adventures still to unfold, and the forest's gifts, which renew themselves with each moonrise. Wherever her steps might wander, Willow knew that in her heart she would always carry the magic of friendship and the beauty of believing. The end. As the stars twinkle above, it's time for dreamy tales to bid you good night. May the soothing echoes of our stories linger in your dreams, offering you a serene escape. Until we meet again under the moonlit sky, sleep tight and sweet dreams.